Hello and welcome to the morning sports briefing here on Wednesday, the 15th of December. And yes, technical issues this morning, folks. Sorry that we're running a couple of minutes late. Yesterday, for those of you who listened to the podcast, I'm sorry that the podcast was not up yesterday, but the recording, which was not of a good enough quality to put up. I'm very sorry about that. But hopefully things will go better today with your best way to start the day. Up to speed with all the important sports news. In the sports news today, we'll bring you up to date with the beach volleyball. We have an update of how Alice Robinson has been going in the giant slalom skiing over in Europe. We've had another athlete pull out of the canoe racing high performance program. Unfortunately, Lydia Ko had a tough day in the final round of the Women's US Open in the golf. The schedule for the Women's World Cup here in New Zealand in 2022 has been announced in the cricket, so I'll give you an update on that one. We have Paul Cole's result from the squash as well in the second round of the Black Ball Open. Kicking off then with the volleyball, beach volleyball, and Olivia McDonald and Alice Zimmerman upset the number one pairing of Shauna Pooley, and Julia Tilley to win the Karapira Open, which is part of the Volleyball New Zealand 3-star beach volleyball level. McDonald and Zimmerman beat Pooley and Tilley 21-18, 21-16 in the final. This was McDonald's second title in as many weeks. She teamed up with Francesca Kerwin at the Mangere Bay tournament the previous weekend. Over on the men's side, Tom Hartle's over on the men's side, Alan Nicklin, paired up with Johan Timmer to beat David Jeffrey and Perry Preston 21-16, 21-17 in the final. He had teamed up with Tom Hartles the previous weekend to win at the previous tournament. Next weekend, they are at Mount Maunganui for the Moa Open, and hopefully I'll get along to that one and bring you some post-tournament or post-game interviews from that. So don't forget the semi-finals and finals for the men's and women's are on Sky Next over on YouTube. Over in the skiing, and Alice Robinson had, a second tough tournament. So conditions were difficult, and the race was delayed by a day due to the snow conditions. In the end, unfortunately, she crashed out on the penultimate gate on her first run. This is really galling, as this is the first time her coach had set a course at this level, and she'd managed to earn that right with her good results over the past couple of years. So another DNF after she crashed out in the second run over in France over the weekend as well. So a tough opening couple of races for Alice Robinson, but hopefully she'll get her season back on track soon. Over in the golf, and in the LPGA, we had the US Women's Open. Lydia Ko was in with a chance, but she struggled on the final day in tough conditions and shot 5 over par to finish tied 13 and 5 over par for the tournament. A.L. Kim from South Korea won the tournament at 3 under par, followed up by A. Anderson and J.Y. Ko, just one shot behind. Moving on to the cricket then. And as mentioned, the 2022 tournament has been announced, or the schedule has been announced. New Zealand will face off against a qualifier in the opening game on the 4th of March in 2022 down at Tauranga at the Bay Oval. There will be, and then the final, the semi-finals will be held at the Basin Reserve in Wellington, and Hagley over Christchurch, with Hagley over Christchurch also hosting the final as well. And there'll be games in Tauranga, Dunedin, Hamilton, Wellington, Auckland, and just spill my tea, and Christchurch. So looking forward to those. The finals on the 3rd of April. In that one, there will be 31 games in 31 days for that, with still some teams to qualify that will be in Sri Lanka, that qualifying tournament from the 26th of June to the 10th of July in 2021 to get the final teams, to make sure we got the top 8 countries in the world at that event. Over in the squash then, and Paul Cole had a tough game yet again against as well over there in Egypt. It finished 6-11, 11-8, 11-3, 4-11, 11-8. Mustaf as well had a better game this time than the previous one, but still there were some controversial calls and some calls definitely going his way. Yet again, he ripped off his shirt and threw it into the crowd afterwards to celebrate in that one. It definitely looks like there is some question, some relationship between these two that is perhaps that is not positive. You'd think, listening to looking at the reports from this one. That's Paul Cole's final final tournament, of 2020, and we'll have to wait and see what the PSA tour looks like next year, because we'll wait. The calendar has yet to be announced on that one, but a good year seeing Paul Cole raise up to 4th in the world. Actually found an opponent that has a style that he perhaps he finds it difficult to play against. You have now started the day the best way, up to speed with all the important sports news. Just a quick one today. This evening, I will be up in Auckland for covering Parnell versus Grafton in their T20 game. So look out for some post-match interviews with the coaches and players on our Facebook page and New Zealand Sports Radio. Also, if you'd like to support New Zealand Sports Radio, you can do. Head over to patreon.com/NZ Sports Radio to get access to exclusive videos and articles. For example, myself, Boa, and Stephen ran through the New Zealand Rugby Awards last night and gave you our predictions as to who would win what out of that. Also, over the weekend, I put out a video talking about the 15-point concussion charter that the players who are taking legal action against World Rugby, the RFU, and Welsh Rugby Union are looking at to improve concussion in rugby. So those are exclusively available for supporters of New Zealand Sports Radio. So if you'd like to get hold of it, like to watch those or listen to them as the podcast, then head over to patreon.com/NZ Sport Radio.